Good morning. Good morning. Welcome back. Welcome to the First Universalist Church of Yarmouth. My name is Sarah Whitty. I'm the president of the Board of Trustees here, and I'm so happy to be greeting you today in our beautiful sanctuary. I am breathing in love and breathing out peace right here, right now. At First Universalist, our mission is to explore our faith, embrace this community, and engage the world as spiritual seekers. May we take those words to heart. Today is Peace and Friendship Sunday, our annual Stewardship Sunday. We gather to celebrate the good works of our congregation and all the possibilities that lie ahead. Throughout this service, Reverend Hillary, Gwen, Mac, Sam, and I invite you to reflect on what it is that grounds you in our community. Is it the peace, the friendship, the joy, the justice, the presence of the Spirit of life here now among us? For me, it is all of those things, plus the sacred time and space we create, either in person, even on Zoom, where we are safe to explore, embrace, and engage in a beautiful, never-ending loop. Each person has their own version of explore, embrace, engage, which is so you. It's so great. Hey, we are nowhere close to perfect, but I have faith that we will always find our way back to joy and justice. And plus, there's pie. So our financial giving, always heartfelt with really excellent and wide participation, has become even more meaningful and mission-driven over the last few years as we have become a church able to self-fund. That's huge. And then to give away all its event fundraiser for joy and justice. All proceeds from the Main Farm Supper, which is next weekend, for example, will go to the new Manor Garden project over in Brunswick. Every bit helps, whether it's at the supper or what you can offer in your commitment towards next year. So please just jump right in. In your order of worship this morning, you will find a pledge card. If you plan on pledging but just haven't found the moment, or if you hadn't planned on it but you feel moved by the Spirit this morning to make a commitment to our annual campaign, we invite you to fill out a pledge card and drop it in the offering plate when it is passed later this morning. And of course, you can always just go online. It's really easy. Click, click, click. You just fill out the blank, offer your numbers. You don't have to add your banking, anything like that. Thank you so much for your thoughtful giving and for being part of our beloved community. I invite you now to take a deep breath with me as we settle into our time together. And our music director, Sam Chandler, will play us into worship. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. Yeah. Magic ribbons for music, live music, magic ribbons for live people here in our sanctuary. It is good to see you. It is good to be with our friends on Zoom. Good morning, my friends. How are you? Oh, yes, great, good. Here, there is a lot going on in the world right now, and I bet there is also a lot going on inside of each and every one of you. And I'm so glad we have gathered in this sacred space at this sacred time together. My name is Hillary. I'm the minister here at First Universalist Church in Yarmouth, Maine, and it is with peace and friendship that I say, whoever you are, wherever you are from, whomever it is you love, whatever it is that you have done, you are welcome here, and we're so glad you're here. Friends, today we offer a service that uplifts and reminds us of the many touchstones of our congregation. What is a touchstone? It's what grounds you, what steadies you, what strengthens your foundation, what builds you up. As you likely made note of, when you came into the sanctuary this morning, you were handed a stone. And did anyone not receive a stone? Everyone's got? Okay, great, perfect. You're gonna need it for later, so if you don't have one, make sure you let us know. And I noticed that many of you are holding the stone that you were given this morning. Yeah, somebody holding them up for me to see. And I imagine you hold it because it feels good to have it in your hands. It feels good to your body to let that weight center you. That is the feeling of a touchstone. And what here in our congregation, in our faith, in this moment, elicits that same centered, grounded feeling in you? That too is a touchstone. Along with the help of all of these good rocks, our service this morning will be strengthened by you, good friends and members of our congregation. And to begin on this note, our opening reading will be read by 5 members of our church. And I invite Lily, Ben, Christy, Ruth, and Joe to come forward to the chancel at this time. The reading these folks will share is a prayer inspired by the writings of the theologian and our Unitarian ancestor, Reverend James Luther Adams, who defined the 5 smooth stones of liberal religion. And 1 second, my friends, I will hand you a microphone. Oh, go. As you read, I'll just put a rock.
This stone grounds us in our living tradition. We are always learning new truths. We are always expanding our understanding of ourselves and others, and our journey towards wisdom continues our whole lives.
This stone grounds us in our free will. In every moment, we are given a choice to enact goodness, a choice to uncover beauty, and a choice to embody the spirit of life.
This stone grounds us in our call to create a just and loving world, a call to abolish oppression in all its forms, a call to honor and heal the living earth, and to imbue our loving actions with hope and courage.
This stone grounds us in our strength and stamina. As we know that good things do not just happen, but that we must work to make them happen and keep happening and keep happening.
This stone grounds us in our hope, trusting that no act of goodness ever goes to waste, and that each of us has the capacity to create meaningful, joyful change. Meaningful, joyful relationships and meaningful, joyful lives.
Thank you all so much. May these stones of our liberal faith ground us today and in all days. And friends, from this place of groundedness, I now welcome you to join me in lifting up your voices and reading our Unison Affirmation, which is written in your order of worship. And I think this is the first time I've read this in a whole group like this. So let's really read it. We are united in seeking to increase love with justice and to constitute a free church open to all people, mindful of our past and drawing upon modern knowledge. We respond to the spiritual needs of persons and are devoted to the common good in community, nation, and world. We cherish the integrity of each individual and search for truth with reason as our guide. We respect differences of opinion and strive to be a democratic community. We are concerned with this world and open to the future. As Sarah lights the bright and warm symbol of our faith, please lift your voices again with me in our chalice lighting blessing.
Are there any children who would like to come help me? Think about it for next time.
We light our chalice in peace and friendship. Thank you, Sarah. Good morning, Gwen. Good morning, Mac. How are you?
Good morning. I am so happy to see all of these real, live, wonderful people this morning.
Yeah, and with real live rocks. It's true. It's not every day that you are handed a nice, real live rock when you come to church.
And these days, it's not every day that we actually get to come to church. So what a wonderful day this is.
Yes.
So everyone, beyond the fact that it is a real thrill to have your very own stone at church, we handed each one of you a stone for a reason this morning.
Yes, in a moment, we are going to use these stones in a collective ritual. A ritual that we hope will enable us to feel grounded here in peace and friendship, joy and justice.
To begin this spiritual practice, we will take some time meditating on the stone we were given this morning. So I invite everyone to pick up your stone you received when you enter the sanctuary.
Rest the stone comfortably in your hands so your shoulders and your neck are relaxed. Plant your feet naturally on the floor so that you feel steady. And as you gently hold the stone, join us in taking a fresh breath in and a calming breath out.
As you hold the rock in your hands, feel it, examine it. Is it rough? Is it smooth? Is it warm or cool?
Feel the weight of the rock, the heaviness of it. Feel its strength. Feel its steady presence. Feel the force of gravity acting on you, acting on your rock. Your rock is being pulled down towards the earth. You are being pulled down towards the earth.
Feel the centering and the grounding of your rock. Notice your feet resting on the ground. Feel the centering and grounding of your body.
Gravity pulls our bodies and our rocks to the earth. Where do our spirits pull us? Where do our hearts yearn to be? Where can our souls feel centered and grounded?
Our spirits, our hearts, and our souls pull us to each other, to this community. This is the force of deep friendship, of love for one another.
Take another breath now, opening your eyes to the gathered people around you. Silently honor all of these lives, people you know well here, people who you're just getting to know. Feel the pull of the living, dependent web of our community.
Together, in just a moment, our sturdy, grounded stones will become symbols of our community.
Row by row, we'll invite you forward to build cairns here upon the chancel. A cairn is a tower of rocks that serves as a guidepost on a path or trail. Today we'll build little cairns with our touchstones. These cairns will serve as guideposts for us on our path as we build beloved community.
Before you come up, though, let's take a breath. Hold our rocks tightly in our hands and imagine we're imbuing our rock with all the love, warmth, strength, grace, power, friendship, and peace of this community. Whatever good feeling you have right now or need right now.
I invite the first 2 rows to come up now. You can place your rock on the altar table, on the chancel bench, or even at the back corners of the carpet, just not on the wood floors. So I invite these first couple of rows to come forward. You can place your rock if you want to make little cairns, little towers with other people's rocks. We'll welcome to do so. I can't really see. I just need to take a look. I think we'd all have a lot of fun at the beach playing with rocks, don't you think? We should probably do that sometime soon. That is beautiful. Thanks, everyone. Joanna, I know you placed some rocks for our friends on Zoom this morning, too. Thank you for doing that. Taking a moment now to look at these touchstones, these guideposts. Join me in offering a blessing, my friends, upon all the gifts, the values, the steadiness that each one of us brings to this community, that each one of us brings to the world of living beings beyond the walls of this sanctuary. Thank you. It is good to be together. It is good to ground together. Mac, Gwen, will you give us a blessing for our children as you head off?
All right.
We are Unitarian Universalists, people of open minds, loving hearts, and helping hands. And now we invite any children to come with us downstairs.
We'll see you later. Bye. Thanks for playing with rocks with us. We now come to the time in our service that we set aside for silent prayer and meditation. And following our time of quiet, I will ring a chime, and all will be welcome to come forward and light a candle for a joy, sorrow, or concern you have today. But before we hold the silence together, I invite you to join me in directing your loving kindness and your longing for peace toward the people of Ukraine and their neighboring countries, including Romania, where members of our partner church and many friends in our Unitarian faith live. Though we must act for peace, along with pray for it, during this time of prayer in this sanctuary, I offer these words by the Corrymeela community of Northern Ireland, an organization that is guided by the principles of peace and reconciliation. Corrymeela offered this prayer this week for Ukraine. It is with deep sadness that we pray for peace and for the people of Ukraine. God, who sees the weakness in acts of naked aggression, God, who feels the fear in moments of acute helplessness, cure this warring madness, and shield all who fall in harm's way. Leach the poison from the mind that thinks strength is shown in a bullying force. And may an equal strength and solidarity give resolve to those whose aim is to protect and respect, not just the ones we call our own, but all with whom we can share a better and more peaceful world. Amen. Won't you take a deep breath with me, my friends, and join me in a sacred time of prayer and silence. for all that has been shared, for all we hold inside, for all we simply do not have the words to explain. We hear you, we hold you, and we wish you immediate comfort, continued joy, a path forward, and the seeds of peace right now. Let it be so, and amen.
In response to Putin's invasion of Ukraine, we are changing our half-plate recipient today to Caritas Ukraine. Caritas is already on the ground and in action, providing humanitarian assistance such as sleeping bags, medical aid, fuel, candles, and warm clothing. Caritas Ukraine is also on standby to help local government officials carry out an evacuation plan when called upon. Romania, where our partner church friends in Yepish live, borders Ukraine. Romania has already seen thousands of refugees and will be likely receiving many more. Both countries have for centuries been subject to wars and dictators under Soviet influence. Generations carry in their bodies the fear and disempowerment of cultural loss and political violence. Let us be agents of action in the world, guided by our compassion. For those in the sanctuary this morning, we will once again be passing the offering plate to one another. For those gathered with us online, you are welcome to make your offering using the donate button in your order of worship. By clicking this link, you will be taken to Give Butter, a virtual giving site that accepts Venmo, PayPal, and Venmo accounts. You may also make your offering by dropping a check in the mail or using your bank's free bill pay feature. Thank you for your generosity and your compassion. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam, and thank you all for your generosity this morning. I don't know, what do you usually do? Do you usually come forward? Okay. This is my first time passing the offering plate. Thank you. Thank you all. Our reading this morning is a poem entitled "To All My Friends" by Mei Yang, who's a descendant of the Hmong people, an indigenous tribe in southwest China. To all my friends, that I could be this human at this time, breathing, looking, seeing, smelling, that I could be this moment at this time, resting, calmly moving, feeling, that I could be this excellence at this time, sudden, changed, peaceful, awake. To all my friends who have been with me in weakness when waterfalls rush down my two sides. To all my friends who have felt me in anguish when this earthen back breaks between the crack of two blades. To all my friends who have held me in rage when fire tears throw swallows behind tight grins. I know you. I see you. I hear you. And although the world is silent around you, to all my friends, I know you. I see you. I hear you. Almost 2 years ago, today, to the date, I was very nervous. It was Friday, February 21st, 2020, and Alexis, my partner, and I were on our way to Yarmouth, Maine for my pre-candidating weekend, a big, long, in-person interview with our ministerial search team. Though I wanted to escape my anxiety on the drive by singing along to Taylor Swift and Beyoncé songs, I instead made us listen to interviews with religious leaders for the entire 3.5-hour drive. I wanted to be in a very ministerial state of mind when I arrived. Knowing that the first event of the weekend was a dinner with the search team, I wanted to be ready to offer a chalice lighting or an opening blessing on our time together, should I be asked to do so. And I anticipated being asked to do so, sort of an immediate test of my ministerial skill right off the bat. Welcome to Yarmouth, Reverend Hillary. Before you say anything, let's hear how well you can pray off the cuff. One of the interviews I made us listen to on the ride was with Padraig Otoma, an Irish poet, theologian, and for a while, the director of the Corrymeela community, whose prayer for peace I shared earlier this morning. The interview with him was centered on his love of prayer and the uses of prayer. In it, Otoma explained how the word prayer is derived from the French prier, which means to ask. But, he explains, prayer is also not only naming or asking, but prayer is just saying hello to what is and trying to be brave, trying to be courageous in the situation, and trying to be generous to your own self as well. In other words, a prayer can simply say, I know you, I see you, I hear you. I was captivated by the interview, which was conducted by Krista Tippett on her radio show On Being and can be easily found online. And I recall scribbling my own prayerful verses while listening. Verses that I would later try to sear to my memory so I could be able to share them off the cuff as I lit a chalice lighting for our weekend ahead. In retrospect, these scribblings were likely my own prayers for myself, prayers for calm, connection, a good feeling, clarity during the days ahead. The sun sank low in the sky, we took a wrong turn and ended up in Saco. I had a minor freak out, at which point we started listening to Taylor Swift, and eventually we made it to Yarmouth, only a little late, and quickly found ourselves in the cozy home of a search member, where I met 7 people from First Universalist Church in Yarmouth, Maine, for the first time. And to my great relief, you did not ask me to pray or bless anything off the cuff upon my arrival. In fact, when we sat down to share our meal, yes, this was pre-COVID, folks, a search member brought the chalice near and lit it himself with a match. Without prompting, your voices rose up in unison. We light our chalice in peace and friendship. And that was it. In fact, I think I might have even said, "That's it?" Which I instantly regretted because I felt it came out as critical, when in fact, I was joyfully surprised by the succinct perfection of that prayer. It was a single-versed prayer for calm, connection, a good feeling, clarity during the days ahead, shared so concisely and so expansively. We light our chalice in peace and friendship. Whenever I light a chalice now for collegial gatherings or in spaces other than our church, this is the blessing I use. And I usually introduce it by saying something along the lines of, "This is the chalice lighting we use at my church, and I love it, and I try to live it." Peace and friendship. These are my touchstones here in our congregation. And since hearing it for the first time on February 21st, 2020, these are pretty much the touchstones of my day-to-day life. Because honestly, when you really get down to it, what else is there? Peace and friendship encompass so many of the ethics, the joys, the needs we have as living beings sharing a place and time together. Our flaming chalice, the symbol of our faith, the torch we light with these words, is understood by many Unitarian Universalists as a light that guides us on our path towards responsible paths towards truth, a torch that guides us as we navigate our place in the interconnected web of all life, a torch that guides us so we can better see the inherent worth and dignity of all beings. Here in our community, we are guided by the bright call of peace, the bright call of friendship, a call that says, "I know you, I see you, I hear you." When you spoke our chalice lighting blessing aloud with us this morning, what did you feel? Do you remember? Sometimes when we are used to doing something all the time, we don't bring our full attention to it. So in case you weren't fully there, as our chalice burns brightly before us, let's look at this light and say that blessing again, shall we? Can't hurt. Offer our chalice lighting sort of off the cuff, if you will. Let's start by taking a breath, relaxing into your seat, finding that calm, grounded center. And now, my friends, won't you join me in slowly, meaningfully speaking our chalice lighting words? We light our chalice in peace and friendship. It's so beautiful, right? Our prayer for peace and friendship. Peace, the end of war. Peace, the cessation of pain, the healing of violence and oppression. Peace, equanimity, non-judgment, non-bias, balance. Peace, the recognition of beauty, the acceptance of impermanence, the knowledge that you and all others possess an inherent goodness. Peace, calm. Peace, a welcome. And friendship. Friendship, as Aristotle said, a friend holds up a mirror to us so we can see a truer vision of ourselves, and vice versa. Friendship, as Emerson said, is composed of two elements, truth and tenderness. Friendship, as Thoreau said, lends its fragrance to the flowers. Friendship, as Anne Lamott writes, we're glad you're here and we're with you. A friend says, this whole project called you being alive, you finding joy, we're in on that. Friendship, as Taylor Swift sings, it is nice to have a friend. My friends, as you know, today is our stewardship service, and this, believe it or not, is my annual Sermon on the Amount. Never gets old. I'm going to say that every single year, and I bet you're going to like it. This is the time of year we seek pledges from our community so that we can continue to walk toward the bright call of peace and friendship together. These pledges keep the lights on, the boiler working, the building upright and up to code. They fund our council and committee plans and needs that keep our community fun, interesting, enlightening, funds that enable us to put our faith to just and good action. These funds pay my salary and the fair wages of all our staff so that we can afford the cost of living and be well and bring our full selves to our work here. As I did last year, I pledged again this campaign, this time upping my commitment to $2,850, which meets the median fair share percentage of my income. Alas, this is not the upper echelon of giving, but it is a stretch of my generosity muscle that feels real and feels good. I know some were a little perplexed that I pledged last year, but here's why I did and why I will continue to pledge as long as I am your minister. I pledge not only because I wanted the lights to stay on and for us to have the funds we need to keep doing what we do. I pledge because I want us to thrive. We deserve to thrive. And more importantly, in this day and age, with the peace and friendship we are called to enact in the world, we need to thrive. I hope, if you haven't already, if you are able, you will join me in making a financial commitment to our church this season so that we can thrive. 2 years and 6 days ago, when I sat around that table with 7 of you for the first time, and your voices rose up in prayer and blessing as you lit the chalice in peace and friendship, I felt so welcome here, so at ease, so okay. It was like you all said to me and to one another, I see you, I know you, I hear you. I'm glad you're here. And I knew then that this was the place to be, and I hoped you liked me. My friends, I see you. I know you. I hear you. I'm glad you're here. And you know what? I see you and I want to see you more. I want to know you more. I want to hear more about you. And I hope you feel as welcome here as I do. And you'll keep coming back here. In peace and friendship, here we are. In peace and friendship, here we go. In peace and friendship, let it be so. Amen. Thank you all so much for coming to church this morning. Thank you to our friends on Zoom. Thank you, Joanna and Pete, for running Zoom so that our message can be broadcast far and wide. Thank you, Sam. Beautiful as always. Thank you, Gwen and Mac. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you to our readers. In a moment, we will close our service by gathering outside and singing Come, Come, Whoever You Are together. The lyrics are in your order of worship. And following our song, all are invited to a time of fellowship, either in the gathering room or outside, if you prefer. We ask that you keep your masks on during this time. But before we reach the end of our service, I want to invite you all up here again to select a rock, perhaps a different rock, perhaps the same rock, to take with you today. Bring home, or perhaps put somewhere where some good energy is needed. These rocks represent our connection to the earth, our connection to each other, our connection to ourselves. And before we rise and return row by row to the chancel and altar table, just take a breath with me and once again look around at the other people gathered with you here this morning in peace and friendship. Each person a guide, a companion, a gift to this community. And when you're ready, well, these first couple of rows, come on up and take a rock, and please return to your seat. get your rocks? All right. All right. May all beings be free of suffering and the causes of suffering. May we all experience profound joy and the causes of profound joy. May we all know and enact peace and friendship, and may all beings be free. Sarah will lead us in our Unison Benediction.
Please join me. The words are printed in your order of worship. For those who come here seeking God, may God go with you. For those who come embracing life, may life return your affection. And for those who come to seek a path, may a way be found and the courage to take it step by step.
Join us outside to sing.